I had no real plan to do any of this stuff. My goal was very shallow, to be honest. It was to get that YouTube plaque. I just wanted that plaque, man.
Yeah.
So, but once I started doing the tutorials, I started doing Skype lessons.
Yeah.
And that was cool, but it was difficult to go back and forth with students. And that was successful though for a brief moment. But 2 months in, someone asked me do you have a piano membership? I'm trying to join. And I was like, I just replied like, yeah, coming soon. And
you kept the door open.
I was like, what the heck is a piano membership? And I didn't know anything about the subscription model or anything like that. So I just decided to just, continue to upload the videos on YouTube, and then while in the back end, like just doing tons of research, trying to figure out what a piano membership was and how to implement that. So until I got that started, I was like, let me just do courses and just sell tutorials and things like that online. And then that's how that got me, that bought time until I built my membership platform in 2020.
6 years ago, I took my teaching skills online, and now I make multiple six figures in annual revenue, teaching piano to students worldwide while working less than 8 hours a day. My name is Warren McPherson, the founder and CEO of PianoLessonWithWarren.com. And if you want to learn how I broke free from the 9-to-5 piano studio teaching, the late nights and weekend gigging schedule, you came to the right place. At the Business for Musicians podcast, I'll share tips, strategies, and tools to help you break free from the trading time for money hamster wheel so you too can build a profitable online business while working fewer hours and from the comfort of your home. Welcome back to the Business for Musicians podcast. I'm joined here today with Dayquan Bowens from Dayquan Bowens YouTube channel, Dayquan Bowens piano program, Dayquan Bowens all over the place, TikTok. Yeah, we on TikTok, right?
Yes, sir.
Instagram and all of that stuff. So Dayquan is, like myself, another one of those musicians who have stumbled into the online game and realized that we can monetize our skills, both as a performer and a teacher online. So I wanted to bring him on, get his perspective, how he started, so he can share with you guys that it is not too late and it's still possible. If you want to build an online business, build an online following, you can still do that today. So welcome again, my brother. It's good to have you here.
Yes, sir. Thank you for inviting me, man.
So the first question I have for you is, what made you start a YouTube channel?
Man, so, I started a YouTube channel like early, and the main reason for me starting the channel is to showcase myself as a player. My goal at the time was to be a touring musician.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, at the time YouTube was the only video platform online, and I kind of saw like how the internet was moving. I was like, let me put myself in a position to be noticed by the important people, if you will. So, that was the initial goal. And I'm from a town, Syracuse, New York, very small place, known for basketball. So, and there's a really great amount of players here, but we don't get noticed. So I was like, all right, let me do my part and try to put Syracuse on the map, if you will. So that was the initial goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
That's cool. And so you remember what year this was?
So yeah, it was actually, I created my YouTube channel in 2007.
Wow, that was when YouTube just came on the game too.
Yeah, man, I think it was before Google. I think I had a Yahoo login account, bro.
Wow, before it's acquired by Google.
Yeah, my first video was in 2008. It wasn't a tutorial or anything like that, but I just wanted to showcase myself playing. So I was like, all right, let me just see what, let the world see what I can do. And I just created a video And at the time, there was no real crazy algorithm, anything like that. You know, just a bunch of cat videos and the Charlie bit my finger. That was a viral video back in that era.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I remember when I came across your channel and I saw you were doing some lessons. You remember when you transitioned into start doing lessons, and what made you do that?
So I uploaded my first video in 2012. I did an organ tutorial. Like, I was a jam session at the church, and there was a camera guy just happened to be there, and he was just recording, me, and I was just talking over little gospel organ preacher chords and things like that.
Yeah.
And I did that one video, and it actually did pretty well for the time. And then I just took this long break, kind of like you.
Yeah,
and then 2018 is when I uploaded my first tutorial. And then ever since then, I've been uploading pretty much every week since then.
People start requesting stuff and asking you to shoot stuff like that. So you also have a membership program for where you teach more in-depth subscription-based business.
Yes.
So did you map out all of that when you started doing YouTube? Did you envision that, or just kind of just eventually morphed? How did that came about?
So about 2 months into 2018, when I started uploading tutorials on a consistent basis, I had no real plan to do any of this stuff. My goal was very shallow, to be honest. It was to get that YouTube plaque. I just wanted that plaque, man.
Yeah.
So, but once I started doing the tutorials, I started doing Skype lessons.
Yeah.
And that was cool, but it was difficult to go back and forth with students. And that was successful though for a brief moment. But 2 months in, someone asked me do you have a piano membership? I'm trying to join. And I was like, I just replied like, yeah, coming soon. And
I kept the door open.
I was like, what the heck is a piano membership? And I didn't know anything about the subscription model or anything like that. So I just decided to just, continue to upload the videos on YouTube, and then while in the back end, like just doing tons of research, trying to figure out what a piano membership was and how to implement that. So until I got that started, I was like, let me just do courses and just sell tutorials and things like that online. And then that's how that got me, that bought time until I built my membership platform in 2020.
How did you market your channel initially? Was it just through the algorithm? Was just sending you viewers, or did you have a special way to get your membership?
So I was like a troll almost, like but in a positive way.
Yeah.
So I used to go on popular piano tutorial channels. I might have did it on your channel too. So I was like, if I would see someone post a video, right, and it was similar to mine that I uploaded, I would go under the comment section and leave a thoughtful comment. But if it was something similar to mine, I would say, I guess I got to delete my video. So that would be the comment. And I know that, the YouTubers and content creators, check the comments, even though they may not respond, or at the very least, your community will see the comment. So I'm like, and they were like, okay, who's this guy? And then they'll check out the video and then notice I have about 10, 15 videos in the collection, and then watch. And then they'll be like, oh, okay, this guy can play and teach. So let me just subscribe to him. So that was my method for a little bit.
Great way of siphoning off subscribers. And that's actually a very powerful point, because I mentioned that, I believe, in one of the previous episodes. And a lot of big name sort of online content creator gurus mention that as well. Like when you're just getting started, one of the best way to get authentic followers is to hang out on other channels that's doing similar things as you. And like you say, just leave thoughtful comments, answer questions if you see people post questions there. And that goes a long way in helping your channel. So that's pretty cool. How did you figure that out? Did someone tell you that, or you just like, street knowledge?
I noticed how powerful the comment section was back in like 2012 when I uploaded my first tutorials back then. So there was a musician we all know, Corey Henry. He posted a video, you know, just straight killing on piano. But there was this one little thing I was like, I wanna ruffle the feathers. So I was like, I pointed out something that will be subjective, but it was a negative thing that I thought was in his playing. So I just, on purpose, like being a troll, I said something that I didn't even mean. It wasn't even that bad. He was still killing, bro.
Yeah.
I just said something. And then the comments went wild for years. Like, bro, you suck, man. How dare you talk about Corey Henry like that? Even though I didn't mean it. I was just being funny, being a dumb kid.
They came after you.
And I realized, like, okay, can I use that in a more positive light? Because the negative attention was crazy. I was getting threats and everything. Wow. So I was like, let me not do that again. So I'm like, let me use that in a positive way and leave thoughtful comments and try to find a way to get people to know that I also do this as well, but not be spammy on other people's content.
So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So your thing is predominantly gospel, similar to mine. Why you niche to gospel?
So,
because I know you can crush it in multiple other styles as well.
Yeah. So actually, like pop and R&B is my first love, like, or at least what I learned first.
Yeah.
But you know, once I learned gospel piano at around like 11, 12 years old, I was like, this thing is fun, man. I can see myself doing this forever. You know, playing gospel music. And then, so once, you know, I started going online, I started doing like tons of research and checking out, like, are there pop piano tutorial based like channels? Yeah. And that's just everywhere. R&B, stuff like that. That's also, I would consider that along the lines of pop. So that's everywhere. Also, I was considering jazz, but that's next level right there.
Yeah.
Everyone is doing that.
As
so
soon
it's
as
just hard to stand out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, wait, gospel. I play gospel every single week. Why am I overthinking this? Let me do what I love and what I actually have expertise in. Like all those other genres, like jazz, I don't even consider myself a jazz guy. I just play jazz-like things. So I'm like, I can't even go in that realm. So let me just stick to what I know. And then I saw that, like, well, actually being a gospel student, like, there's no real academic way to
explain
teach
a lot
it,
of
or
stuff.
there hasn't been in the past no real method. Like jazz, you have a jazz school, they have jazz curriculums, classical curriculums, but there's no gospel curriculum. And all of the artists that we like, pop artists and things like that, are using gospel musicians. So I was like, there's a market for gospel musicians, but there's no one serving them. So I decided to just go in that lane because I know that's something that I can teach every day and I will never, ever get sick of it.
That's cool. That's cool. It's crazy how a lot of your analytical process as to how you got into YouTube is very similar to mine.
Wow.
For me, it was more of, you know, I'm classically trained, but I've always been interested in gospel. So I said, once I set out on that road to really learn, I said, might as well just bring folks along with me. So when I scoured the internet, I was like, okay, I'm leaving the classical thing behind. And the pop thing wasn't really my thing, even though I could do it. But like you said, everybody was doing it. And I dabbled in jazz. But, you know, once you dip your foot in the jazz world, it gets pretty deep pretty fast. And it's like, I'm not planning on going all the way because I'm not really a jazz guy like that. So it was this thing, the gospel thing. I was like, well, I could play some gospel, but I was never really like a solid gospel guy.
Right.
But I wanted to learn more. So I figured as I'm learning, I'll be sharing with my audience. So that's why I decided to niche to the gospel. But then also it was so hard to serve everybody.
Right.
People coming to wanted gospel, they wanted jazz, they wanted pop. And then I said, if I had to pick one, which one would it be? And so I went the gospel route. So that's cool to see how you ended up in that realm. So What are some of the obstacles you experienced when you were trying to turn, now that you have a following and you decide you're going to turn it into a business? If you were to highlight some of the biggest ones, because we all struggle with obstacles every day in this business, but if you were to highlight a few, what would you say are some of the biggest ones?
So I would say that when I first started out on YouTube, it seemed like everything just worked. Every video that I put out, it would get tons of views. And I grew at a rapid rate when it was very oversaturated. Like, everyone teaches piano now. So
yeah,
in the beginning, I didn't see like any real obstacles, but because of the lack of planning that I had during my earlier stage, and then now that the shiny object syndrome has faded away with me as a new piano teacher during that period, I'm starting to see that like no real plan is really locking me up now. So that's one of my biggest obstacles. So a lot of the obstacles I feel like you don't really see immediately. So like now I've spoiled my audience to expect all-star game level chord progressions. And I'm like, okay, now I showed you guys that I'm incredible, but now I need to actually teach you guys something. Like, how can you create this on your own?
Yep.
So I'm struggling with like
the transition.
This is more of a current thing, like with balancing the entertainment side with actually imparting knowledge, practical knowledge that the student can move forward and actually apply. So one more thing.
Go ahead.
So, but as far as in the beginning though, the obstacles that I experienced was self-doubt and perfection, being a perfectionist. So
with the video editing or the teaching part?
Being a presence on online, man, just everything, man. Like, dude, the self-doubt, then, believe it or not, the people in my town, in my city, because I feel like, you got to build your local before you start branching off and, the national and international stuff. But most people didn't consider me a gospel player. They consider me, in church, they consider me jazzy. And then when I play jazzy gigs, they consider me gospel. So I had this self-doubt. Like, I played gospel every week, but it was this fear that I wouldn't be authentic as a player. And then the perfection was the presentation of the content. Like, man, my early videos sucked. but my audience saw something in it, and I was just always like wondering, like, why are people liking my content? And meanwhile, got like the OG guys have all this nice setup, and I just have I'm just in my basement, just no backdrop, no anything. So I held off a lot because of trying to be perfect in the way I speak and the way my content looks. So that was the biggest obstacle.
Yeah, we're going to put a pin and dive a little bit deeper into that, because a lot of my colleagues will reach out to me and like, how do you started this online thing? I think that's one of their biggest obstacle, the self-doubt, because they already have the knowledge and the skill. Some of these guys are burning on their instruments. The self-doubt, how did you overcome it? What did you do? Got a therapist?
Basically, my therapist is my wife. So,
okay, that's good.
She holds me down a lot and helps me to see the value in myself. So, like, I know everyone may not be married, but you need to find a group of people that genuinely supports what you do. Yeah, and this is another thing that helped me get over the self-doubt and the perfection. I used to teach at a college called SUNY Cortland in upstate New York. I used to teach gospel music, and I used to develop the choirs and things like that. At the end of the semester, the school would fund us to go on a tour. So we went to Jamaica,
Wow.
You're home.
Welcome.
You're home, man.
That's
I love
cool.
it there, man. I love it there. So we went to. It was a music school there. I don't know. You may know it.
You went to the Edna Manley College?
I think so.
That's where I went, man. That's where I studied my degree. What year was this?
2019.
Oh, wow. So it's recent.
Recent, bro. So the YouTube channel was. I was posting consistently for a year. I had about 2,000 subscribers. We just went through the college. I don't even know how we got there. We just end up going through the college, walking around and just touring the place. And this random guy calls out my government name. Dayquan Bowens, is that you? And I was like, yo, what is happening? And then my wife was like, you can't go back now. Like, this is who you are now. Like, so there's no turning back. You can't quit now. So
Yeah.
every time, like, that's kind of like the thought process, like that moment. And then my wife being there to witness that, she told me, like, bro, she calls me bro when we're in, when she's in the coach mode.
Yeah.
Like, you can't quit. I'm not going to allow you to quit. So I still have moments where I'm like, yeah, I want to give it up. It's still nerve wracking, putting yourself out there. But she helped me with that, by that moment in Jamaica, and in her reminding me of that every chance I talk about quitting.
Yep, that's great.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
And we all suffer from this. And I tell folks that if you continue to wait on the sidelines and say, but I don't have the best camera, I don't have the best microphone, oh, my backdrop setup is not that good,
Yeah.
Initially when I started, for those of you who've seen my YouTube videos, one of the reasons I use a green screen behind me was where I was living at the time. I just couldn't find a good place that has a decent backdrop that I would want to see in camera. I had this like old 80s, like what they call it, the stuff they put on the walls.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know the name, but I know what you're talking about.
Spacing out. Linoleum? Or that's the one for the floor?
Linoleum, I think. Yes.
That's one for the floor?
That's how you say it. Yep.
Well, the wall version of that.
Whatever, yeah.
It was old. It was something like 80s. And I was like, I can't shoot a video with that in the back. So I just put up a blue screen behind me. And then I would just key it out with a sunset. And that became my thing. So I still keep it, even though, I'm in a spot now where the background, I have better background. So I tell folks, you can't let those little limitations stop you, because each time you wait on the sideline, your mind comes up with more reason to not get in the game.
Right.
And so it's cool to see how, having a wife/coach to help you.
Yep.
But the community aspect of that is definitely important. You're thinking about doing something, link up with like-minded folks, reach out to folks that will support you, and someone you can bounce ideas off and stuff like that. So that's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, man.
So for those listening, I said, well, man, it's 2023. All these guys started created a channel in 2007 and all of that. That's years ago. They've had years of growth and time. I don't even have a channel yet. What are some things you would share with someone who's trying to get in the game? What would you say they should do, how they should start, anything you want to share along that line?
I would say, like, you should be finding your unique approach. If you're trying to you look for people for inspiration and guidance and a proven track record to see what works, but like, you have to figure out what makes you stand out.
Yep.
Beyond the music. Like, a C major chord is a C major chord, or whatever, or, a passing chord is just what it's going to be. And we often kind of talk about the same things a lot, but I think everyone has a different angle, and the angle isn't really always that big. Like, for me, like, one of the things that I struggle with is always saying and things like that in between my sentences. So at the time, I used to be like, man, over editing my videos, just cutting out all the ums. But I'm like, man, you know what? That's just how I speak. Someone out there speaks exactly like me. It resonates with me.
Yeah.
So excited your thoughts don't come together. You just, all this stuff. So I'm like, people like me the way I am. So let me focus just on being me.
Yep.
Being a relatable guy, and someone will just resonate with me on that alone. Not necessarily because I play a better chord than someone else, or someone, I got a better camera or better something, that doesn't matter. And a lot of times as musicians, we're always looking for the gear and the ability. We judge based on ability. And what I just basically just think you should do is just focus on your approach. Just be yourself.
Focus on the thing that makes you unique, because you got me, you got you got Sean Wilson, you got, you got Corey, you got KC, and we're all basically teaching gospel music, but we all have a sizable following online, thousands of people that all follows our stuff, purchase our stuff, even though a lot of the materials are overlapping in terms of what we teach. And that's because while the material might be same, all 5 of us teach differently, speak differently. We have a different personality and camera. And those are the things that attracts people, the individuality, right? And so that's a good point. That's a good point. If you were starting over, knowing what you know now, what would you do differently? If anything.
Man. I would have started my channel in 2012 when I uploaded my first video.
You would have started pushing from then.
Yeah, man. YouTube was more simple. There was a lot less people teaching. And also, one thing I kind of noticed is that it's not really about like being perfect so much. It's about being first. Like coming to the market first or being one of the newer people there. So if I had to do things differently, like I would have just went with it in 2012, because I always had the urge to teach, and I didn't know it was going to be online, but I would see some of the early guys like Wheatworks and gospel musicians, John Hartwell, Jamal Hartwell, teach, and I was like, oh man, I can do that. And at the time, there wasn't that many. It was just them, or at least from what I saw. I'm like, man, I could have had about 500,000 subscribers by now.
And a lot of those guys it's interesting. A lot of those guys sort of fade out, because when I was in college in Jamaica, people was passing around Jamal's DVDs like it was candy. And I remember getting a hold of it, and I was like, man, this stuff is cool. He sort of matriculated into the more tech VST creating realm, which is cool. Yeah. But so, I think the takeaway right here is that a lot of people who've had this idea of doing something online 2-3 years ago, and they're still waiting. Yeah. Basically, what we're telling y'all is to start. Like this week, shoot a video, upload it this week. Today. Learn as you go along, because you might be looking at our videos and our channels and you're like, man, but these guys' cameras look so good and their sound. But the thing is, we had to learn and upgrade, and you will. It's a natural process. As you start to do this stuff, you're going to naturally see areas that you can improve. And, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I would say also to that is to document your journey. Like, even if you just write down a journal or something like that, maybe record yourself, whether it's video or audio, so you can see how far you've came. Like the day by day is just really hard to track your growth. And I know we talk about this in our in teaching and stuff like that, but it also applies with starting a business and stuff like that. Like, I looked at some of my old videos yesterday, actually. I was like, wow, I really improved a lot. I still have a long way to go with the production value and stuff like that, but it came a long way. So,
because there's always going to be room for improvement. Because I don't remember who said this, but the day you stop growing, that means you're on the down path. You don't want that to happen. And so by constantly looking out into the horizon, you're going to see things that you can aspire for and things that you want to include in your own growth and development. You may have seen me post this on Facebook, a snapshot of a video and how much money it's generated since I posted.
That was insane.
Dude, that was video number 10.
It was 10 out of 10?
That was video number 10. Because I number my
on the channel. Oh, wow.
I number my videos.
Yeah.
So that was when I posted my 10th YouTube video.
Wow.
And that video now has something like 1.5 million. It's the most viewed video I have. 1.5 million video. And it was video number 10.
That's insane. And when I
looked awkward on camera, my audio was not great, my camera editing was not great, but yet still that one video. Now I have over 500 videos, but that one video number 10, is the most viewed video. And that what showed me that, oh man, it really has nothing to do with your gear.
Sure.
Your gear isn't actually probably not even on most people's radar who are looking for the content. See, the thing is, the content that I shot was solid. And that's what keep bringing people. And so for those of you who are like, but I don't have the right gear, if you have something solid, you're missing out. And you're also doing your potential viewers and customers a disservice because you're not there to help solve their problems.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, that's a solid thing. Start now, keep going, and learn along the way.
Yep.
Anything else you want to add to musicians doing the hustle out there playing 300 gigs a year? And they're like, man, if I could just start something online, but I don't know how to. There's so many people doing what I'm doing already. Anything else you think they would find useful?
Man, I think just all musicians should have some type of online income stream. It doesn't always have to be a membership. All of these platforms are paying musicians now. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. So there's ways to generate income, and I wouldn't shoot just get to level 1. If you make $50 on social media, that's a start.
Yeah.
And then once you get 50 on a regular, then just move the goalposts. But just create something. It doesn't have to be anything that you quit your main gig or job for. But I just think that all musicians should have at least one stream of income coming from online.
Yep.
So,
and to some of for those who are wondering, it's like, but how do I make money online? Like, what do I do? Yeah. So the simplicity of it is, once you start to build an audience, your audience are like gold.
Yeah, man.
People pay you to get in front of your audience. Once you have people following you for your content, whether it's just you jamming on your instrument or you doing weekly tips, once you have a good enough audience, and we're not talking, you don't need thousands and thousands of subscribers like us, because Dayquan, you just passed the 80,000 threshold, and your Instagram's blowing up, which I still can't understand. I'm like, my Instagram is growing slow.
Either on another podcast or later. We'll talk about that later.
But you don't really need thousands and thousands before you can start. I hear people with 2,000 subscribers already start to monetize. So the way I do it, and if Dayquan want to speak on this, you can as well. Mm-hmm. So branding deals is one of them. Behind me, for those of you who are watching this on YouTube, there's 2 keyboards on the ground. Those were sent to me for free. Companies reach out and say, we send you this for free. We also pay you on top of that. And you just shoot a video talking about the keyboard. Boom. Yeah. That's money in your pocket right there. Another way to get money online is once you hit the 1,000 subscriber mark, you're eligible for monetization on YouTube. You turn that on, which means every video you post after that, ads run on the video, you make some change, you get a monthly recurring, almost passive income check, basically, from YouTube, because you don't have to do anything else. And then we have affiliate marketing. So you talk about the gear you're already using to produce your video. You link to Amazon in that, someone buys it, you get a cut. And then again, it's passive because that video lives on YouTube. So every time someone sees it, follow your link. And there's so many other affiliate sources. We're not going to dive too deep into affiliate marketing, but those are just some of the ways outside of your own content, because Dayquan Bowens have a membership program. I have a membership program. We make money from there. Probably the bulk of our online revenue comes from the program that we sell. But these are other elements of income stream. By just having an audience, you can start to leverage that.
Yeah. I agree, man. And there's also other little things that you can get with having online presence as well, and that's endorsements, man. I actually got an endorsement with Hercules stands through my social media content. It's basically keyboard stands, bro.
Oh, wow. Oh, yes.
They outfitted my whole keyboard studio content area with Hercules stands. I have Hercules camera stands, those Z stands for my keyboards, the X stands. And
that's nice.
And it's a paid endorsement. So it's like there's so much opportunity, man, with YouTube, man. And none of this would have happened without YouTube.
Yeah.
So
that's it, guys. If you're on the fence, you want to start something, you're probably trying to figure out, but what should I do? Don't worry about that. Just start posting video, anything that interests you. This whole thing when we talk about finding your niche, eventually it comes. You wake up one morning and be like, you know what? I think I want to go this way. And the good thing is, because it's online, even if you want to pivot later, you can do it. Nobody's going to stop you. But you don't have to have the answers to all of this stuff yet before you get started. All you need to know is you got skills, you got a phone, start shooting stuff and start posting it.
Yep.
All the other stuff will start to fall in place. You'll start to figure things out.
Yeah. I agree, man.
Cool. Well, thanks, man. I think we got to everything we want to get through today. That was great. Thank you, Dayquan, for taking the time out of your day to join us here on the Business for Musicians podcast. For those of you who want to connect with Dayquan, DayquanBowens.com, or on all social platforms, just search Dayquan Bowens. You know, he's a pianist like myself, keyboardist, doing a lot of amazing things. So check him out, see what he got. And if you want to pick his brain about how he gets all them crazy endorsements and stuff, reach out to him. I'm sure he'll drop you some tips. All right?
Yeah, man. Yep.
Thank you guys for listening, and stay tuned for the next episode dropping next week. All right? Bye for now.
Take care.